Good morning, everyone. This is Nikki. This is Scratching the Dirt, and I'm doing something a little different today. Not terribly different because I did it not that long ago, but I'm using the POV cam, and I'm just going to chat with you guys and talk about some things. I did a video like this a couple of weeks ago, and when I was going through my funk, and I really liked it. I really enjoyed the process. I liked being able to just kind of do what I'm doing and talk about the things that were going on with me. Hopefully, uh, some of that resonated with somebody out there and you got some value out of it. But over the last week or so, I've been coming out of my funk. And if you have been watching the carnivore vlogs that are also on this channel, that's why I had already kind of been making baby steps out of it, and then I changed my diet to the carnivore diet, and I'm seeing massive improvements in my energy and my emotional kind of state and all of that. So I've also been thinking about the way I've been approaching the channel, this content on the channel, the gardening and the chickens and all of that. And my original thought for the channel was that I'm a teacher. I'm an educator by nature and by previous profession. I like to teach. I like to show people how to do things. I like to take my experience and my knowledge and share that with other people. The problem is that it's not translating well to YouTube because I'm not great at like writing a script and figuring out the shots that need to be filmed and doing all of that. It might be a time issue, but I really think more than anything, it's that it's not my jam. Like there are so many really, really good people out there on YouTube that can teach you the things that you want to know about gardening. It was adding pressure to the time I spent outside. And that's not the goal. The goal of my garden is to give me my place where I can be, where I can relax, where I can think, where I can just, piddle and do the little things that bring me relaxation and help me de-stress a little bit. And also, the benefit of having the food and the herbs and all of those things, not just for me and my husband and whoever we share the food with, but also for the chickens. I grow a lot of things for chickens and that end up going to the chickens. So I was like, what am I going to do? Like, am I going to just keep floundering and not doing a good job of making good videos? Like I was having a hard time with it. I was having a hard time with the fact that I didn't feel like my videos were really very good. They definitely weren't educational. So I'm going to shift. The carnivore vlog has actually kind of taught me that I like that kind of vlog format much better. I like being able to just talk, to just, say the things that I'm thinking about, say the things that are in my brain or heavy on my mind. And I know that there's a good chance that will decrease the exposure of the number of people that are interested in watching, and that's fine because of course I want to grow an audience. I've talked about this the whole time. I want to grow a community of people, like-minded people, similar circumstance or not, people who are just interested in different. I'm interested in so many different things. You guys should see my Google searches. It's ridiculous. I love knowing or learning lots of different things about lots of different things. And so I'm hoping to still be able to build that kind of community through the YouTube channel. But if this shift that I'm making decreases the number of people that want to watch, or it doesn't get the kind of traction I'm hopeful for, then that's okay. Because the point is for me to be authentic. And this is more authentically me. Like, I still love my garden. I love doing these things. And so we're doing POV camera, and I'm going to chat with you guys. And maybe every now and then I might just go silent because my brain sometimes stops working. So, we're going to see how this goes. I'm going to go with this for a little while, get some joy out of it. I will tell you right now that it's almost 10 a.m. on a Saturday morning. It's the first day of college football. It's August 30th, and it's already spicy out here. Like it's already warm. So I don't have a whole lot that I'm like, I have to do this in the garden today. I do need to get some water on some plants, and I do need to harvest. But other than that, that might be all I do this morning. I might come back this afternoon or this evening when it's not quite as hot. But then again, I may not, because I think 6 p.m. is the LSU Clemson game. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I also have I have plans for my big plans for today are to split my time between college football and the U.S. Open. In high school, I played tennis, and I've always been a huge tennis fan. And I get really excited about majors and watching the tennis. I've even taught Jose a little bit of stuff. He didn't know anything about tennis and never watched tennis before we got married. So that's fun. We get to see, look, I get to teach him about tennis sometimes. But those are my plans for later today. Right now, I'm just going to start here. You can, I don't know, can you see that basil that I'm watering? I slacked off, I guess. The other day, I watered everything that has sprinklers, like the irrigation system, and I forgot to come back and do these things. So everything looks really bad. And that's okay. I'll tell you another thing, too. As far as the garden goes, we're here at the end of August, and I've been working on this garden since March, and I'm kind of over it, right? Like if you do gardening, you hit that point where it's been months and months, and the last couple of months here in Texas have just been hot, and you get less done every time you come out because the heat gets you, and you have to go in, or you have to take so many breaks that you just don't have enough time. It's not like in the spring when I can be out here from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and I'm good. I'm loving it. So I'm sitting here trying to save all these plants and water them, but at the same time, in my heart, I'm like, oh, I'm so over it. I'm so done. I'm ready to move on. And I need to kind of bust out of that a little bit, because we have the intention of planting a fall garden this year, which we've never done before. And when we talked about doing this, of course, I was all gung-ho and in the throes of when everything was first growing and looking beautiful. And now the summer heat is starting to take some things out. Like I took all of the tomatillos out last weekend. I have footage of that where that was going to be part of my original video that I was going to post this week, and when I decided to kind of move away from that. But I took all the tomatillos out. All of these things that are in pots, not these things, these are lantanas, they're not in pots, but these things that are in pots over here, I'm over it. Like they dry out so quick, and I don't know. I don't know as far as the gardening goes, like what comes next. I need to sit down and think about it, decide, plan what I'm going to do next. What I do want to do is make sure that I'm not, like I always do, that I'm not over planning what I can actually execute. So, I feel like there are times when I do that. I get excited, and then I'm like, I can do this and I can do that, and then I can do this. And then I can't execute it, and none of it works well because I bit off more than I can chew. I did more or planned more than I can actually do. So I'm going to put some thought into the idea of a fall garden, and we'll see. We'll see where we end up. I do know that if I'm going to do anything, if I'm going to do any cooler weather vegetables or anything, I need to get those seeds started like this weekend. It's Labor Day weekend, so a 3-day weekend, and I've been off work the last couple of days. So, yeah, there's the zinnias, which have been, look at how tall they are. The wind has taken these down different directions a couple of times. I've thought about, when I took the tomatillos out, I thought about just pulling these things too, pulling the zinnias, but they're so pretty, and the butterflies and the bumblebees love them. So for now, I'm just going to leave it because there's no reason in yanking it out if I don't know what I'm going to do instead. So look at this basil. Look at this baby. I don't know if you've been watching, you might remember how it was just a tiny little seedling at the beginning of the year, and it's just grown big. All of my basil has always grown really well. This salvia is spectacular. I probably need to trim it. Like, it actually blooms more if you take the spent blooms off. So, but I haven't done that, of course. But the buttons, you can see, can y'all see all the bumblebees that are on there? There's always so many bumblebees on here. So I'm just getting some water on some stuff. I'm gonna harvest, and then let's talk about a couple of things. The first thing I want to talk about for sure is, because I spent so much time talking about it a couple of weeks ago, or maybe it was last week that I posted it, is kind of that funk that I felt like I was in, that I was suffering from. Oh, look here real quick. See all that bug damage? See, this is why I get over it and why I get frustrated. I'm like, oh, I can't just keep fighting the bugs every week. Like, I don't like poisons. And you reach a point in the season where the bugs just really take over. So, but my funk. Oh, look, the Rose of Sharon is blooming. So pretty. We have two of these in the ground. One was over there by the house. One is over by the fig tree. This one we haven't found a place for yet, but it's still blooming. Pretty. Anyway, my funk. I was in a really bad funk. It lasted probably 3 or 4 weeks, and just emotionally, I was feeling like junk. Like I'm having a hard time, or I was having a hard time with a lot of things. Like, why am I like this? Why can't I just get it together? You know, I don't know. Maybe you don't, but all of the things that I do to myself when I struggle a little bit, I'm working really hard on watching my self-talk, which I'm way better than I used to be. I mean, I used to be able to just spiral and just hate myself by the end of a 5 or 10 minute conversation with myself. And then it just gets worse. And then you spiral down lower, and then you get lower and lower and lower. And I'm much better now. I have some tools that I can actually stop that in its tracks and pull myself out of it. But for some reason, that last funk that I was in, that I'm coming out of, it was harder. It was really hard for me to pull myself out and figure out what the heck is going on. And to be honest, I still don't know what it was that kind of sent me into that funk. I don't know for sure. I have some suspicions about what it is. A big part of it, I think, is that I'm not 100% satisfied in my job, which, when you spend 40 hours a week doing something, it's far better on your mental health than it is when you're not really super happy at work. And I know lots of people aren't happy at work. And you just do what you have to do because you want to pay your mortgage and you want to pay your bills. And I get that 100%. But I've probably said it again. I've said it before. Like, at what point does the mental health damage outweigh the desire for a paycheck? And yes, I have to have a paycheck. I have to pay my bills. But really, do I have to be unhappy in order to do that? Could I not find something else? I don't know. And so I know I was tossing that around, and I was really, really thinking about that a lot during that funk. You know how it gets. You get this idea in your brain, like, I'm miserable and I hate this and I hate that, and you get to the point where you kind of stop finding the positives anymore. And that's where I was. I want to be the kind of person that can be like, okay, this sucks, but there's this, and they at least balance each other. Maybe not one outweighs the other, but at least get some balance. So that's where I was. I just kept thinking about, you know, I've had jobs before where on the drive into work, my stomach hurting really, really bad. Like I would just be like, I just don't want to be here. I just don't want to go do this today. And, I've made it through that. And I eventually, left those jobs and found something else. I'm not there yet. Like my stomach doesn't hurt when I go into work. I don't like, I'm not, and I don't know if that's because it's a different job situation or if it's because I've gotten better about understanding how to kind of counteract that with my choices, my beliefs. I'm not sure. I'm currently, as I'm coming out of this funk, I'm really considering all of my options, what it is I want for myself. I'm in the back part of my life. I'm 50 years old, and I'm not I'm only going to have so many more opportunities to be just ecstatic about what I do every single day. And I know that for some people, and even me, I'm a practicality person. And so every time I think about anything, it always comes down to the practicality of it, the logic of it. Like, if I want to leave a job, for example, since that's what we're talking about, then I want to 100% be assured that I have another job coming, or lined up, that I, planned. And it's all of the things that my parents instilled in me. So, I've watched people who are in their 70s and 80s now, the generation, my parents' age generation, they, some people spent 30, 40 years working jobs they hated, and they did it because of the security of it. And I get that. I really get it, especially when you have young children. I would have done anything and stayed anywhere when the boys were little and I was solely responsible for taking care of them. Now that they're adults, I'm beginning to think that maybe I've got a little more freedom here to kind of go for some stuff that's for me. Right? Like I don't mean that to sound greedy or selfish, but I have done the work of raising my family. I'm always here for my children no matter what, but the actual raising part is done. They're all adults now. So, I'm going the wrong way. I keep coming back to this idea that now's the time. Like I could do whatever I wanted. I mean, I'm smart, have experience in a lot of different things. I'm physically capable. Um, I have skills that are valuable. There's lots of things about me and my abilities that are great. And I kind of get to the point where I think, do you not trust yourself? Do you not like yourself? Like, why are you staying somewhere that doesn't light you on fire? Like, why aren't you finally at this point in your life doing something that really, really excites you, that you're really, really good at, or something new that you really, really want to learn? Like, Nikki, why aren't you doing these things? And of course, the answer to that question is fear. It's fear. Like, I'm not a really fear-based person. I mean, I had a 6-centimeter brain tumor in my head, and I had to have my head cut open ear from ear to ear. And when my boys were little, and I was never afraid of that, not for 1 second. I didn't have health insurance when I was diagnosed with the brain tumor. Didn't get scared. Like, I'm not a fear person. And for some reason, I've started to feel fearful about going for the things that I really want to go for. And what kind of damage am I going to do if I just go for this? Or, what's it going to do to our finances? And all of these things that, keep me coming back to, okay, well, Just keep doing what you're doing. See if you can make it through. Just make it through. Make it through another day. Make it through another day. And that's how I'm living my life right now. And that funk was the result of, I think, that not being consistent with what I actually think is possible. I think it's like, you watch, like I watch a lot of videos and read a lot of books, and you always hear these stories of people that just went for it, or they had nothing and they just took their grit and determination and turned it into this thing or that thing. And I know that that's not how everybody's life works. I know that there are many outliers. I know that it's not possible for every single human being to have those kind of fairy tale stories. And I don't necessarily even want a fairy tale story so much as I want a true story. I want my last years here. Obviously, I don't think I'm going to die in 10 years or anything, but then again, we never know. But I want my last years to be full of the things that just light me on fire, that just make me so excited, make me happy, keep me engaged, which is a big deal to me. I want all that. And at some point, I'm going to have to, truly, honestly ask myself, well, how much do you want it? Because you just keep doing the same thing you've always done. And that's where I am. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about making some changes. It's just like with this channel, like I knew pretty much from the first couple of episodes, I knew like, oh, what I'm trying to do isn't working. I'm not able to pull off the vision I originally had because it's just not me. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like what I want to do. And it's taken me months now. Like I started this in May, and it's now the end of August, and it's taken me months to kind of go, well, if it's not working, then stop doing it. Like, it seems so obvious, but when you're in it, sometimes you miss the forest for the trees, and I was missing it. Rather than going, hey, how can I restructure this? What can I do differently? I just kept plowing through and trying to figure out how to make my, not super great content just keep going. So, I think we all hit those moments in our life where we stop and go, wait, is this what I really want? Is this what I really want to be doing? Is this benefiting me, like head to toe, physically, spiritually, emotionally? And one of my big problems, I've probably talked about it before, one of my big problems with my job right now is that it's a sit down desk job. I don't get nearly enough physical activity, which of course makes you feel worse and makes the mental health struggles even more strong, because when you aren't getting enough physical activity, you feel it, not just in your body from the pain and stuff, but also in your spirit, you feel it. Physical activity, even if it's just gardening, is important. And to be at my desk for hours and hours and hours a day, and there's only so many. I get it. Get up every 5 minutes or every 30 minutes, walk around, take a break, stretch. I try to do those things, but it's just not the same. I spent the majority of my adult life doing stand-up jobs, on my feet jobs. I was a bartender. I was a teacher. I worked at a retail store. Like, everything has always been, on my feet. And while your feet may hurt at the end of the day, depending on what kind of shoes you wear, your spirit doesn't hurt. So I know that moving to something a little more active on my feet, a little more physical, would be good for me. And so I'm thinking that it's in the processor. I'm thinking through these things because I have my practical side where I think, well, how are you going to do that? What you going to do? And there's only so many options. I don't really know, but I'm assuming that any kind of more physical job would much more quickly go to a younger person than it would to me. Just because of people's preconceived notions about age and capabilities, abilities at certain ages. I am a very capable person, like physically, mentally, as far as my intelligence goes, my skill set. I'm very capable. There's a lot of things I can do. But again, do we want to make changes in our life and get to the point where we're doing things that we can do? Or do we want to do things that we want to do? So that I can be excited to get up and go to work, and that I can be excited to work on certain projects. I don't know. That's a big thing that's going on in my brain right now. Oh, I just saw a butterfly. I just saw a monarch butterfly. It was lovely. And again, as I'm walking around doing this harvesting, I'm feeling just this like, oh, I'm so sick of this garden, which is natural. Like, it's okay. It doesn't mean I'm going to come rip everything out tomorrow. But everything runs its course. And a spring/summer garden gets to the point where it has run its course. And it also becomes like where the mistakes you made in the spring, as I'm looking at the San Marzano tomatoes, the mistakes you made in the spring become a huge hassle late in the summer because we didn't properly trellis these. And so now I'm just looking at it going, oh, if I could just rip these out, that'd be wonderful. And even like, look at this tomato. It doesn't look great. Look at this one. It doesn't look great. So, just thinking about all of these different things, I guess, you can get kind of philosophical about these things. Like, the garden has run its course, right? This is kind of funny. Oh no, the garden has run its course. It's time to move on. It's time to do something different. Look, so I didn't see this, and something ate it. But I had talked about in another video when I was doing the tomatillos that are right next to here. They're the reason why this pepper plant is laying down on the ground, like it's laying over like that. I didn't even see that pepper. I did see that pepper. I talked about that pepper, but I didn't pull it. And so now something got a bite of it. And then I've got some eggplant over here that I'm going to look at and decide if I want to pull them yet. I kind of want to pull some of these. Like, I feel like when these get this kind of different color, so this one is more purple and this one is becoming more brown. Look, and the stem is kind of broken. So I'm going to go and just take this, and that one looks green on the outside still a little bit. But things run their course, right? The garden runs its course. Education runs its course. Like, if you're in school for a long time, jobs run their course. People leave jobs and move to higher paying jobs or different responsibilities. Like, these things happen. This is life. And so I do like the way the garden gives me the opportunity to kind of think. And also, there can be some pretty significant parallels if you really think about it. Because I was all gung-ho about this in the beginning of the year when I got out here and started just planting stuff, moving stuff around, and then, oh, gung-ho, gung-ho, gung-ho. And then I did probably too much. I may have done too many new things, and that's part of the problem. But, oh, look, that looks beautiful. See, but it's so small. My my lesson here. Okay, the water's running on these, so I need to get in and get out. And look, these keep splitting. Like, I keep finding split ones every time I come in. Look, another one split. So That's frustrating. It's definitely that time of year where everything is just not as wonderful. There's times when I wish I was in a different climate so I could see what it was like. But the fact is that if you plan it right, where I live in Texas, you can actually get multiple like waves of things. I haven't done that yet. I did it with the cucumbers. I did it with the beans, which, oh, I forgot to check for beans. But for the most part, something like I held on to those tomato plants in that tomato bed for far too long. I could have gotten more produce out of those if I had made the decision to replace them sooner, you know. But you live and learn, right? So next year, I'm going to have to think about, are we going to just say we're going to succession plant, or are we going to actually do it with everything? Because, like, look, and the weeds are taking over this bed. The cucumbers are they're not doing well. This one is doing great. This one is doing okay. I'm going to send it up. But, like I was thinking I was going to get another huge crop of tomato or cucumbers. And I do not think that now. It doesn't look like it. So I'm pulling these beans. I'm going to dry them. I have some that I pulled the other day, or peas, excuse me. I'm going to just dry them right now. I'm not eating meat, and Jose doesn't like these, so I'm just going to dry them. Not eating meat, only eating meat. I'm not eating vegetables. So, these will be fine. I'll dry them, put them in a mason jar, save them, give them away, do something. But I'm not going to waste them because this is one thing that I actually went through the trouble of clearing out and replanting. So I don't want that work to be wasted. That's another thing too. I think a lot of us get to where we're in something, whether it be a job or a degree plan or a hobby or whatever it is, and we put a lot of time and energy to it, and then we get to the point where even though we know for a fact that it's not the best thing for us, or we're not getting any joy out of it, or it's not meeting our original expectations, we think, I'm too deep, I'm too far in, I can't quit now. And then we stick it out. We keep doing it. We keep buying supplies for a hobby we don't like doing, or we keep dedicating time to a degree that we know is not what we want, rather than just changing our major, adding a little bit of time to the end of your degree plan, moving on and actually getting to be where you want. I have a real life example of that specifically. One of my boys started school in one degree plan, and within his first semester, he went, "Oh no, I don't, I don't want to do this. This isn't what I want. I actually want to go do this." And his degree is going to take him longer than originally expected, because that child of mine did the thing that I'm so incapable of. And he went, "Okay, first semester, I'm out. I'm going to see if I can get into a different degree." Like, he knew. He was like, this is not what I want. I'm not going to spend my time and money on this. He did that first semester. He talked to the people at school about moving to a different degree plan. And it took 1 or 2 semesters to get fully moved over and accepted into the new degree plan. So he's actually going to graduate later than he originally should have. And that's okay, because he didn't waste 4 or 5 years just floundering in a degree plan that he realized early enough that wasn't actually for him. It wasn't what he wanted to do. So I'm super proud of that. I'm very proud that he did that. Now, if I could just learn from my 20-year-old son how to just go for it when I know it's time, then because now there are some things that I have accepted that I have to move on from a hobby. One thing that I really, really wanted to learn how to do is do like lettering and, um, like the pretty lettering, like not just handwriting, but the pretty lettering. I don't know why I wanted to learn how to do it, but I did. I thought it was really cool and I wanted to learn how to do that. And so Jose went out and for a gift, he went and got me like these cool markers for doing that. And he got me these books that practice, you can practice and you can learn how to do it. And I think I did it 1 or 2 times in those books. And then I was like, yeah, this isn't for me. My hands hurt. My hand hurts because I have the problem with pain in my right hand. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do this. Well, I found those books and markers the other day. And I was like, yeah, there's something that I actually was smart enough to be like, we got to call it. We're not going to do it. We're not going to do this. And so those things are still sitting around and I need to put them in a garage sale, which is probably exactly what I'm going to do. But, we learn. I've learned. Sometimes I learn a lot of lessons. Unfortunately, sometimes it takes me several times to get it for real. It reminds me of my mom. My mom used to always tell me, I used to be a really, really super impatient person. I am kind of impatient now, but my mom would always tell me, you know, if you pray for patience, you're not going to just magically get patience and all of a sudden you're a very patient person. You're going to get circumstances in which you need to show and practice patience. So I'm not going to lie. I've never prayed for patience again because that's the last thing I need is more times to practice my patience. I got enough of those as it is. And I have gotten better. But, I think that when we ask for something, whatever you believe in, if you have a religion that you believe in, if you believe in the universe, if you just believe in manifestation, whatever it is, it makes sense that the thing you're asking for is not just going to magically happen. You're going to have to use those muscles for that thing and practice that thing. It's just like when you were in school, the teacher didn't show you something and then go, okay, well, we're good. Let's move on to the next. No, you got sent home with homework or you were given in-class activities that you had to complete until you showed mastery. And if you didn't show mastery in the original time allotted, you had to come back and keep practicing, relearn it, keep practicing. And maybe sometimes I get caught too deep in that loop and I just keep putting myself in a position where I have to just keep practicing, even when there is an easier way to do things or a better way for me to do things. I'm learning, I'm processing it out, I'm going to figure it out. I do know that, you know, we are getting to a time like my soul, my gut is telling me that I need to make some decisions and decide where I want the next few years to be, what I want to be doing, what I want to be spending my time and energy on, how I want to use the gifts that I have been given and that I have cultivated throughout my 50 years on this planet. So we'll see. It's exciting. Like I said, so it's exciting to think that I need to process this through. I need to come up with something. I need to make plans. I need to take actions. We're going to see what happens. I'm going to take you guys along the whole way. I'll let y'all know what I'm thinking, what I'm doing, what kind of choices I make. So stay tuned. But for now, I am very sweaty. I mean, this is how long I've been out here. I started recording about 10 minutes after I came outside, and I'm already like sweating like crazy. But I am going to go ahead and go inside. I'm going to make some breakfast, and I'm going to get ready for a day of college football and editing and US Open tennis. And I'm going to have a wonderful Saturday. And I hope that you do the same. Or you did. I guess you're not going to actually see this till tomorrow. So never mind. I hope your Saturday was wonderful. I hope you enjoyed your Saturday. I hope you watched some college football if that's your jam. But have a great week coming up. You and I'll be chatting during the week about the carnivore vlog. If you're interested in the carnivore diet, please follow along with that. If you're interested in listening to me verbally journal out here in the garden and see what's going on and what I'm doing with the garden, please follow along and watch these videos. But I hope you have a great week, and I will be talking to you soon. Bye.